Yeah, this isn't good. So I'm walking around. I've been on this restaurant before. I'm walking around and I noticed that there's bees crawling all over the floor everywhere. Look over here. I'm gotta be very careful here that I don't get in trouble. That's all bees over there, guys. Someone busted up a hive or something because they've had a beehive here, and it was on the other side of that parapet wall. They've dealt with it for a while. I'm kind of afraid right now I'm gonna get stung. I'm not allergic or anything, but still, there's bees everywhere and they're like lethargic, crawling around. See if I can do this, get any, I don't know, there's bees swarming right now, so I gotta be careful, but they're everywhere. It's like someone busted up the hive. There's tons of them. Yeah, they sprayed something on them.
This video is brought to you by Sportland. Quality, integrity, and tradition.
It is Sunday morning. I had a somewhat of a late night compressor change out last night, and this call actually came in yesterday evening, but it was for an air conditioner, so I was like, no, not gonna happen last night. So we're coming out this morning. Supposedly the office and kitchen AC is completely down, which is 1 unit. So we're gonna jump into it. You know, these on-call weekends, they can suck sometimes, but just mentally prepare yourself. You know, you're gonna get calls. Don't make plans. At least that's how I roll. I don't like to make plans. I don't like to do anything because then I don't get my hopes up. So we're gonna see what we can get on film.
All right, this is the offender today. It is a York, it's probably like a 10 ton, I'm guessing. So let's open up the electrical section and see what we got going on. All right, so we've got an error message. Looks like on multiple stages. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna count the flashes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you come down to this guy, high pressure, high pressure. So 3 and 4 is high pressure controls. So we're off on high pressure. This unit's missing an outdoor air filter. Okay, here it's completely missing. Let's take a look at this condenser. It looks beat down, but it doesn't look as dirty. So hopefully we don't have condenser fan motors, because I don't have any. All right, so what we're gonna do is reset this bad boy. See, I think it's been a while, but I think you can reset it from right here. I can't remember how to do this. I thought you could reset it. Let's see, let's try to hold it down. There we go. Okay. And let's pop our head up here. Let's see what's going on. Looks like we got a failed condenser fan motor right here. I'm gonna have to open it up and see what the specs are. See if we can get something in there temporarily. I don't have an OEM one for sure. So this guy is locked up. It won't even budge. Here's the deal. We're going to disconnect power to that motor, and then we're gonna put a mister on this condenser to get us going temporarily. These York units, they have lower CFM condenser fan motors. I think they only run like 800 CFMs, or RPMs I should say. So I'm not going to go through the hassle of putting a 1075 on there when I can just put a mister on the condenser and then come back with the OEM one and not have to do double the work. Okay, so we've got a bad condenser fan motor, and I don't have an OEM one, but I'm going to have to put an aftermarket one on, because I tried rinsing the condenser off, and I've said this before, but the micro channel is actually holding the water in, and it's not allowing the water to evaporate, so it's still going off on high head pressure. So I'm taking the side panel off to be able to access this condenser. And you know, I really don't like to talk crap. I really don't like to say one brand is worse than the other, but I'm sorry. These are the stupidest units ever, really. JCI, York, I don't give a crap. You guys suck. There's screws right here. What is the purpose of having 3 screws right there on the inside that I can't get to? How the hell do you guys expect people to clean a condenser properly? You guys set yourselves up for failure. This is the dumbest crap ever. And I know you guys know that those screws are dumb. I'm just, seriously, this is freaking dumb. It's Sunday, I'm trying, you know, like, what a dumbass. So I gotta get in here. If you ever get these screws out, don't ever put them back in. You leave these stupid screws out. And it's dumb. There's a screw hole here, and there's a screw hole here. What is the purpose of having screws on the inside right there? That is just ridiculous. Ugh. All right, so here's the deal. This unit has 800 CFM or 875, 810, whatever RPM condenser fan motors. I don't have those. I got 1075. That will get me through the weekend, okay? This customer needs this because what's happening is it's so hot in their kitchen, excuse me, it's so hot in their kitchen that the computer systems are shutting down. So they don't care what it costs. So we're gonna put a temporary 1075 motor in there. It'll get us through the weekend. Now, with that being said, the fact that they're running lower RPM, they usually put a bigger pitch on the blade. So you have to compensate for that. So what's in here is a 3rd horsepower condenser fan motor that runs at 2 amps. We have to make sure that we put a big enough motor in here that it can compensate for the higher current draw that's gonna happen when it tries to spin 1075 RPMs on a blade with that pitch. So I'm actually gonna put a 3/4 in here, and that should do the trick temporarily, you know, just to get us through. So here's what I have to do. I have to take a long shank nut driver and blindly go up into the unit and attempt to find the screws. I already got one, and I got to get to the second one too. This is ridiculous. So I already got this one up here. Now there's another one right here. So dumb, so dumb. They got screw here and screw here. I mean, I'm reaching my hand up inside out. That's just dumb. All right, I'm gonna change out this condenser fan motor now. Yeah, we're locked up. So, like I said, I'm gonna go with a 3/4. We'll have to cut the shaft down, and this is just temporary. Pulled the screen off, bird screen, whatever you want to call it. Put some penetrating oil, or rust buster essentially. It's not, well, it is penetrating oil, on there. Let it sit while I'm kind of taking things apart. We're gonna loosen these guys up, try to get this to break free. Just a little bit at a time, baby steps. You can hear the bearings are, that's the bearings. That's bad. So we have an aftermarket 1075 RPM motor here. It's just a hair taller. You gotta be careful about that because that puts the blade up higher. But anyways, this is just temporary. So we've got the drain plugs or the wheat plugs, okay? So this one's gonna go shaft up, so you leave those plugs in, and then you go on the bottom and you remove the wheat plugs right here. So because this is a totally enclosed motor, it has no way for condensation to get out. Here in California, we really don't have very many condensation issues, but still, if it was to rain or something like that and water was to get in, you want it to be able to drain out so the motor doesn't fill up, okay? In a perfect world too, we would put a rain guard on here. But again, I don't have one, but this is literally only gonna be for 2 days. It's Sunday right now. We got a holiday tomorrow on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll get someone out here so long as we can find the OEM motor. All right, we got the motor installed. I haven't wired it in yet, but what I'm doing is I need to identify which capacitor goes to which, because I'm running a 3-wire setup, so I don't have to have a run cap over here. You just tape off the white and brown, and you connect just the solid brown to the capacitor. It actually tells you how to do that on here too. So what I did was I found the capacitor lead, which is the brown wire, and I grounded it out, okay? And then I just come over here and test each capacitor's brown wire to ground until we figure out which one is it. And this one's it right here, this top capacitor. So this is the one we're gonna change. And then hopefully we'll put the panel on. We'll verify rotation, and then we'll put the panel back on. Verified rotation. It's spinning in the right direction like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and put this side panel back on. and take a current draw reading, make sure everything's good. We're allowed to run 4.7 amps on this 3/4 horsepower motor, so I'm taking a guesstimate that that should be enough because the original motor ran 2.1, so I'm hoping we're going to be okay because again, that blade has a stronger pitch. All right, we are running 3 amps, so we're not over amping. Now, we do not want to leave it like this because now we have one blade pulling out more air than it's supposed to, theoretically not letting the air absorb the correct amount of heat from the condenser, okay? So, and then obviously reject it from the system. We don't want to leave it like that, but this will get us through temporarily. But something I want to point out, I rinsed this condenser about an hour and a half ago before I started doing all this. And this condenser is completely still vapor locked. Actually, that's so hot, it's burning my hand because it turned on. This is what I'm talking about with these condensers. You have to make sure that you tap or blow that stuff out. If you don't, you can trip the unit on high head pressure. And what happens is that water actually gets stuck in there because of the tiny little openings. It's kind of like vapor locked in there. And the condenser fan motor blade can't pull it out. So therefore, it's just like having a plugged up condenser. So I'm gonna go grab my little Milwaukee blower and we're gonna blow all that out. All right, let's get this guy blown out. See all that water that's coming out of there that wasn't before because it's just, you know, like I said, hydrolocked or vapor locked or whatever you want to call it in there. These contactors don't look the greatest. Looks like we just satisfied. So when we come back, we're probably going to change the contactors too. I opened these ones up and they're looking amazing. They don't have a voltage drop across them though. But now that I got all that water out of there, you can see the condenser actually dried off. So it, you know, looks like we still got a little bit of water down here because you can see the wet spot. So, you know, people don't realize, like they say in the comments, oh, that's not true, you know, on the micro channel, but it is. The water just gets stuck in there and it'll cause it to go off on high head pressure. We notice it a lot out in the really high ambient desert conditions like we have. Like right now, it's about 113, I think, right now, and I think our high today is supposed to be 118. And yeah, these things are just dying. So the customer's going to be happy. We'll dial everything in when we get back. We'll change that motor and the blade. We're in Measure Quick right now. We've got high subcooling. This is the first stage. We've got high subcooling. Discharge line temp's not that bad. Outdoor air is kind of high, obviously. We've got a real high temp split. What's the dealio with airflow? Something's funky there. Let's make sure that we've got everything profiled correctly. Ah, yeah, I didn't save it, so it's a 12.5 ton. And we're a package unit. TXV 13 to 16 SEER. Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. Save. There we go. Now let's see. Much better, much better. All right, so our subcooling's rather high, but remember something, that condenser fan motor is moving too much air. So it's not allowing it to draw the correct amount of heat out of the condenser. And again, this is my first stage. So I'm contemplating moving that blade up a little bit to draw a little bit less air. And see if we can drop that subcooling a little bit. Let's see what Measure Quick has to say. System may be overcharged with refrigerant. TXV, I don't think there's a TXV. I think that it's all about that condenser fan blade. All right, so I moved this guy up. I'm gonna leave it loose. I moved it higher than the other ones now, and we're gonna see what that does. All right, so we're back up and running. Our subcooling's definitely lower. We're looking a little bit better. Outdoor air is 115. Okay, I like that. We're gonna let it run for a little while and I'm gonna check out the second stage. All right, that's looking good. Measure Quick, I'm pretty happy with it. I need to button up that fan guard cover. I need to put that back on and put some screws back in. But that's gonna probably be it for today, and we'll order the motor and come back. All right, I'm back here today. It's the weirdest thing ever. It is 85 degrees outside and overcast and cloudy. Kind of like cool. But it's literally was 120 degrees yesterday. So weird. This weather's a trip. All right, so this AC is still running. I've got a new condenser fan motor. We're gonna put this on. Let's see if we have any safeties. The manager said that the AC has been working great since I got it going. Look in here. No error messages, just the normal heartbeat. Everything's cool. So we're gonna power this guy down, pull the condenser apart again like I did, and swap out the fan motor with the OEM 850 RPM motor. It's kind of a shame because that motor's a perfectly good motor, but I did have to cut the leads short. I'm not a fan of keeping used motors in my van, but maybe we can find, I know they have a couple of their ACs that are down, that one and that one, so who knows, maybe they'll have a bad condenser fan motor. But anyways, 208 volt, 850 RPM. So this is the right replacement motor. It's an OEM motor. We're gonna slap this guy in, and hopefully all will be well. All right, let's talk about the blade depth. So it's really important that you try to set the blade depth back to OEM, okay, if at all possible. Now, if your blade goes down too far, now this one, it doesn't physically let me go down too far, but on some of them, you could push it down so far that this leading edge right here will be below the shroud. And if it's below the shroud, then theoretically it could recycle air back into the condenser and you will have some issues, okay? So typically, I want my leading edge on the top to sit into the shroud anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch, something like that. Now, what you can also do is you can also look at the OEM motors that have never been changed and look at the shaft placement. That's gonna put my shaft sticking out of the hub about that far, which is gonna give me about 1.5 inches of a leading edge into the shroud, which I'm comfortable with, and I'm gonna go ahead and set it there, okay? Now, on the old motor, what I ended up doing, because it was moving too many RPMs and it was moving too much air essentially, I ended up moving it way out, all the way out, so that way it was only scooping so much air from here. So the other one I lifted way high, so that way this edge was only sticking into here about ½ inch, and that allowed the system to continue to run and it wasn't moving too much air. But when I go back with the OEM, you gotta make sure you set your blade depth correct. Same thing goes for walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers. You always wanna pay attention to the blade depth in the shroud. And if you have it too far in there, it's gonna recycle air. Got the motor changed out, got the capacitor replaced. I had mentioned about these contactors. They don't look the greatest. Definitely got some burning going on in there. So we're gonna go ahead and swap out those contactors too. I brought some new ones. I swapped out the contactors, got the amp clamp on the condenser fan motor. Gonna fire it up, and then we're gonna make sure that compressors are running in the right directions. Sounds good. Sounds good. We're allowed to run 2.1 amps. We're running 1.56. That's good. Looking good. Let's wait till this guy, the second stage kicks on. We'll check those ones too, but yeah, good airflow. All right, I'm a happy camper. Yeah, this isn't good. So I'm walking around. I've been on this restaurant before. I'm walking around and I noticed that there's bees crawling all over the floor everywhere. Look over here. I'm gotta be very careful here that I don't get in trouble. That's all bees over there, guys. Someone busted up a hive or something, because they've had a beehive here, and it was on the other side of that parapet wall. They've dealt with it for a while. I'm kind of afraid right now I'm gonna get stung. I'm not allergic or anything, but still, there's bees everywhere, and they're like lethargic, crawling around. See if I can do this, get any, I don't know, there's bees swarming right now, so I gotta be careful, but they're everywhere. It's like someone busted up the hive. There's tons of them. Yeah, they sprayed something on them. That's crazy. I don't know if you guys can see those, but they are, that's all bees moving around. There's thousands of them.
All right, I am human. You know, I have emotions. You know, I was frustrated. It happens, okay? I'm just like everybody else, all right? There's nothing special about me. I'm just a dude who happened to pick up a camera and put some crap on YouTube. This was a frustrating one, okay? This entire weekend was extremely frustrating for me. And yes, I know people are going to say, I knew I was going to be on call. I knew it, you know, but the calls just kept coming in, and they always came in at really odd times. And while I never show it to the customer, I was genuinely frustrated, okay? But I keep it to myself, you know, vent it to friends or family, you know, and just let them know that I'm frustrated or whatever. But, you know, York kind of got the blunt of my frustration with the stupid placement of their screws and their package unit. You know, I mean, I'm not saying they have the worst air conditioner out there in the world, because they work. I mean, I have York units that have been out there for 20 years and they still run, okay? But it's still frustrating, okay? But again, it's real, right? I think I need to share more of the real stuff and show my frustration and things, you know? It happens with all manufacturers. It's not just York. York just happened to be the one that I was working on in this situation, okay? So, I got the customer operational. That was the most important thing. So they had lost the AC the day before, and I was actually fixing walk-in freezers in the middle of the 120 degree heat or 21 degree heat wave. We had crazy record-breaking temps. So I was fixing walk-in freezers, and I had 2 that night before. I couldn't get to this customer. I just told him it's not going to happen. Okay. When I came back the next day, I'd found out that the AC went down and they lost their computer system because their office was getting too hot and all that good stuff. So anyways, but I got it operational. Okay. That's why I had to put a temporary condenser fan motor. I didn't see the need to open up a supply house. You know, the cost of the motor, it would have been about the cost of opening the supply house. So I had the motor in my truck. I didn't need to ruin the supply house's guy's evening, basically. So I put the temporary motor in there, made the fan shroud adjustment with the fan blade, and got them running, okay? I ended up having to leave that job. Well, I shouldn't say that. I finished the job. Everything was good. The unit was operational. Like you guys saw, I changed the contactors too. And then the customer had asked me to look at a couple more ACs. And when I went to go look at those other ACs, that's when I saw the bees. I'm not allergic to bees, and I'm not necessarily afraid of bees. I mean, of course, I don't want to get stung for no reason, but they were warning me, okay? And as I was trying to walk over to the other ACs, I was getting dive bombed. And they weren't landing on me, but they were warning me. They were coming at me, swooping around, flying away, and slowly pushing me away from whatever happened. It's a bummer that hive got busted up like that. I don't know the details of it. I did talk to the manager, and basically the bees were... excuse the coke nose, the bees were infested in the wall. So they would have had to open up a wall to completely eliminate the hive or remove the hive to take them to another place, basically. And that would have been some serious demolition to be able to open up a wall, because they're going into multiple places. Now, in the long run, they may have to do that. Who knows? I don't know. But I told them that I would have to come back another day. It's now been a day and a half. So I'll give it a couple more days, and then we'll go out there and fix their other ACs. All right? I really appreciate you guys making it to the end. Do me a favor, if you guys are interested in helping to support the channel, if you guys are considering any tool purchases, check out TrueTechTools.com. Use my offer code BIGPICTURE, one word. You'll save 8% on your order. And if you guys kind of have an idea what it is that you guys want to get, do me a favor and send me an email, and I'll generate an affiliate link. Or also, if you see tools that I use in my videos, there's always affiliate links in the show notes of the videos. Those affiliate links also help to benefit me. If you click on those, it helps me. And if you use my offer code, it still helps me too. So let me know. I can generate more links for you guys if there's something that you're interested in. Monday evenings, 5 p.m. Pacific, I go live on YouTube to just discuss these videos, the Q&A, answer live questions and all that. And then also Friday evenings, 6-ish p.m., I go live with the HVAC Overtime crew, and we just kind of talk shop, talk about what happened during the week and all that good stuff. So hope to see you guys there, and we will catch you on the next one, okay?